I don't know if it's morning. I don't know what time it is where you are. You really got a problem with time. DNA versus disaster. Alright, so we're switching to ungoogled Chromium. We want the Chromium Web Store. Download the CRX from releases. Chromium Web Store. Add extension. Let's see what this is first. I just looks pretty good. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, the problem is I still do like Google. Like, so but is this the one we have to manually add Google back? I also want to take a minute to shill for my beautiful, I bought an OLED screen. I bought one of those Samsung OLEDs, and it really shines when the, when it's dark. Yes. You need uBlog Origin. The internet is unbearable without uBlog Origin. Let's allow it in incognito. And now we have a beautiful ungoogled Chromium. Oh, and let's take a minute. No, I'm done with Brave. We gotta add Google back as the search engine, but they like take it out because they really try to rip Google out of this one. Search engines change. Yes, they really try to. I don't know. Let's give DuckDuckGo a try. Should we really try to lean into Perplexity? There was that other one that I always forget the name of anymore. Okay, bro. Okay, take your suicidal ideation elsewhere. This is a happy stream. Someone said I was depressed. I'm not depressed. I just mourn for the loss of my empire and my culture and my people. That's all.
You guys know that Black Mirror?
So let's take a moment and let's read comments. Let's see how we're being perceived.
Welcome.
Today. You educate the very select few of us that watch your streams. What should you do? You should get banned for talking about off-topic bullshit, bro. Banned. That's right. That's right. This is a joy stream. We spread joy, okay? Joy. Can everyone get on board with joy? Maybe it doesn't matter anymore, but I just bought my 4th comma device. What do you mean it doesn't matter anymore? What is this? What is this depressing ass shit? I'm just thinking about whether I want to diversify to another empire. That's all I'm saying, right? Like, does Elon? I'm. If you're in a swing state, your options suck, but one option has no future and one option has a chance at a future, and hopefully you know which ones those are. I thought about it. I'm like, do we do an endorsement? And I'm like, I can't endorse. I don't endorse any of these people. My only hope is that we were on ChatGPT this morning. We asked ChatGPT what Elon's failures are, and like, they're pretty much, some rockets blew up at SpaceX. Oh, Neuralink isn't moving as fast as we like. ChatGPT said the Boring Company wasn't real. I'm like, what do you mean it's not real? I've been in their tunnel in Vegas. So, it's a shame that saving the world has to fall on Elon, but I kind of believe, he can do it. So, yeah. I'll say I want to join tinygrad if we get more streams. Yes, this is what we're here for. Hong Kong is a nice place. It is a nice place. It's not the they have the Chinese passed a Chinese security law here. There were protests, and my basic take on that is like, now this is like extremely political, but you don't want to let the problem kind of with an open society is you can get are those protests CIA backed? Are they organic? I don't really know. I'm always upset when I see people clamping down against free speech. I don't know how free speech actually is here, so that is a little bit sad. I wish I also looked more into the Taiwan political situation. There's the blues and the greens, and again, one party's more China aligned, one party's more independence aligned. I would say that I did definitely feel like there was more freedom in Taiwan than there is here, and that's always a sad thing to lose. CCP stable for business, bro sleeping on Singapore. He moves to Hong Kong and doesn't know what language they speak. I understand that they speak Cantonese and not Mandarin. Is George coming out as a commie? Yo, look. I understand that they call themselves the Chinese Communist Party, but the North Koreans call themselves the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. So let's not go by names. Let's talk about who's producing more steel and electricity. And I don't think the numbers are fake. All right, so if you leave a comment, I'll respond to your comment. You gotta close the loop. We will still never give up. Never give up, never surrender. Hello, After Work Tech. So yeah, if you're in a swing state, vote for civilization. That's all I'll say. It's like, yeah, I know it sucks, but can Elon pull another rabbit out of his I love that there's an anecdote from his biography where he talks about how he plays Texas Hold'em. He got to a party once and played Texas Hold'em, and he's just like, he just got dealt the cards and then went all in, and he lost, and he got dealt the cards again and he went all in again. It's pretty incredible, and it's a good real lesson to internalize. He just levers up on everything, maximum leverage, and I kind of wish I had the balls for that, so yeah. I did almost say 10 years ago what would happen with Google. These trends are pretty obvious to people paying attention. I respect fake data and coal power. I think the data is less fake than you think, guys. Based view about the idiotic pro-life stance. Thank you. Pro-life is not okay. It's anti-freedom. Okay, it's seriously anti-freedom. And it also it just gives. Why are the elections in the U.S. 50-50? I'll never really understand this. I really liked his Tucker interview on X, and really when you frame it as people with these ideas are really just against civilization. Median voter theorem. There's an actual explanation for this. People who are advocating, again, I don't think I said it strongly enough, and I liked what Elon said about this. When they talk about having laws that are hard on crime, being against minorities, that's the most racist shit I've ever heard. What are you saying? Are you saying minorities are criminals? Is that what you're saying? Right? You don't want there to be unfairness in policing, but every person I've ever met is against, again, property crime and violent crime. These other things are not crimes. There's no such thing as drug crime. That's not a crime. right? There's abortion is a crime. No, it's not, right? Freedom is not. He spread misinformation. That's a crime. That's not a crime. There's two crimes: property crime, when someone takes your property, and violent crime. Everyone knows what that means, okay? Oh, yeah, no, I wanted to respond to, someone said the Brian Kaplan, if he's not happy about the southern border, he's not going to be happy about Brian Kaplan's stance on open borders. I mostly agree with open borders. Like, as long as you can't have open borders in a welfare state, right? As long as you don't have a welfare state, down with the welfare state, you can have open borders. For the most part, I think that's fine. Again, there's also a difference between having open borders legally and having the first thing people do, to come into the country, commit a crime. That just disheartens. It's so disheartening. How am I supposed to tell engineers that, that are going through a absolutely ridiculous process to get a visa to come work in America? How do people feel? How do people feel when they just see illegal immigrants? When they just see people walking across the southern border, right? That's the worst selection function I've ever heard. Late-term abortion is effectively killing a baby should be a crime. I mean, again, you pick a reasonable thing. I don't think this is a huge. The fact that they can use the fact that elections have anything to do with these bullshit cultural issues, right? Like take an issue and look at which side is freedom and which side is against freedom. It's that simple. Right? It's not more complicated than that, right? So yeah, I mean, again, you want to talk about if it's killing a baby, sure. If the baby could live on its own without technology, fine. But otherwise, it's like, this I don't know. I don't want to like. It just pisses me off, and it pisses me off that the that this cultural issue is still a thing. It's ridiculous. How the debates about BS topics, right? How come nobody's talking about things that actually matter? How come no one's talking about the fact that the U.S. spends trillions of dollars every year that they do not have? And then, I have to pay taxes, Tiny Corp apparently. I have to pay tax, even though we didn't really make money in 2023, because they changed the way the R&D tax credits work. Right? Again, if they pass unrealized capital gains, unrealized capital gains is the last straw for me, and I'm tearing out my passport and come and find bitches, seriously. It's just you wanna watch your country descend into just pure idiocy. Yeah. So there we go. I hope that this stuff gets fixed. Unrealized gains tax is psychotic. I know, but they don't. It doesn't matter. Right, it's really. I find both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump absolutely unlistenable to on podcasts. Yeah, it's pure emotional. I mean, Trump will say the first sentence about something, and then he has to go on some Trump-esque rant. Well, Biden was actually the worst president ever. You can't believe how bad he was. Blah 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 blah. Shut up, right? And then when I was a mom back in Iowa, I saw grass, and that grass brought me joy. And really, they're trying to make abortion illegal. And oh my God. Are you kidding? This is a fucking joke. And oh yeah, does anyone want to talk about at least Trump talks about the border, right? You got to fix that, but you can't fix this by having these hardliners against immigration. Trump screwed me in 2020. I had some people who got visas ready to come work at comma, and then they couldn't get them stamped And it was like Stephen Miller anti-immigration shit, right? So like again, this is the government. I also really think that like it's not a don't have politics that don't actually affect your life, right? Don't like I'm not gonna but these are things that actually affect my life negatively, right? Like and again with Tiny Corp, I had 2 visas denied, for people I was trying to bring into America to work for Tiny Corp, right? That's kind of what started my okay. We got to explore other jurisdictions here. Trump leans my direction. I'm voting him, but it's so frustrating to listen to my bullshit. Yeah, to listen to his bullshit. Yeah, no, I couldn't believe. I like Trump in 2016, and I was always hoping that when he becomes president, like this stuff stops, like the stuff with like the small hands and the stuff with like oh my God, John Bolton wrote the most terrible book. Like, bro, you're punching down. Like, stop it. I don't think I think all of you. I'm sure all of you made up your mind. Yeah, the big tech companies have used the visa systems, the smaller companies are hosed. I mean, there's just so much stuff against smaller companies. You look at that R&D tax thing. The R&D tax thing, I didn't understand this, but in 2022, you can no longer deduct R&D the year you did it. You have to amortize it over 5 years. Microsoft gives no shits about this, but when you're a startup, you might not exist for 5 years, right? And these things can be the difference between make and break for your company. It's they're coming after the kulaks, man. They're coming after the kulaks. Those. Republicans will make the rich richer. Democrats want money to be more fairly distributed. What does that even mean? But I read Kamala is for little tech. I don't know what Kamala stands for. I don't think she stands for anything as far as I can tell. She was installed to a, there was no primary. There was no Democratic primary, right? It's just so unbelievably upsetting. Yeah. The system that incentivizes entrepreneurs is what creates jobs. Yeah, absolutely. A startup is paying taxes. I owe taxes apparently. My accountant tells me that Tiny Corp owes $12K in taxes. It's not a huge amount of money, but still. What? I didn't even sell a product. How the hell did I make money? We didn't start selling the tiny boxes till this year. I don't even understand it. The political system to the U.S. is going to the dogs, and it's getting bad fast. I'll say it. It's getting bad fast. Have I sold any of the computers? Yeah, 2024, not in 2023. We sold about I think 65 of them or something. I don't know. How can you tax a company that didn't make revenue? I know, but it's well, you don't have enough deductions or whatever, and I just can't be, I can't be. What? How much time am I going to spend on this? All right, it's $12K, right? You want to fleece me for $12K? Do it. What absolute fucking clowns. Why is SF politics so shit? Here's a theory about all of this. A theory about all of this is these people at the absolute core are decels, and they believe in deceleration. You'll see this. You'll see this in things they want. They use the stupidest words for it. They'll use words like degrowth. Degrowth? What the fuck you saying? Let me see your bank account. Would you like your bank account to experience some degrowth? Let me see your house. Just take a room. Want to experience some degrowth? Yeah. So it's like what you're really against, and I think Elon said it super well in his Tucker interview. It's like you're against civilization at that point. You're this isn't funny. Like, this isn't like, oh, let's have our old debate where we go back and forth about, well, I let the child care tax credit do this, and well, I created the small business pro bullshit program to do this, and like, hello, you're all gonna be poor, right? What's that? I mean, really, you hear the saying that what communists really want is, like, they don't care if everyone's starving as long as we're all starving equally. Like, no. Child care tax credit is based. It, it it misses the point so completely. Right? I think that like the government does this interesting thing where they'll do something like they'll take your freedoms away for you and then they'll give you a way to get them back, right? But only if you jump through some hoops, right? Like TSA pre, right? TSA pre is exactly this, right? Like TSA pre is basically what the experience of flying before 9/11 used to be. It's still worse, but like, and then, oh, well, you're just gonna have to, pay this some money, and you're gonna have to go through, some more security procedures. The government can't legally take your fingerprints, but we take your rights away, and then, I think whether I more seriously, start to move stuff out of America does hinge a lot on this election. And does hinge a lot on, really, I don't have much faith in Donald Trump himself. But if Trump lets Elon go in there and got 90%, got 80% of the federal employees, all right, America's starting to look like the land of opportunity again, right? If the American government, if that's possible, if it's possible to go in there and do to the American government what Elon did to Twitter, then I have hope again for America. And I'm happy to be a part of it. Hell, I'll even be an intern. Can I intern? Maybe I can be more useful than I was at Twitter, right? 80%. Let's keep it reasonable. 90 is a little extreme. Let's just do 80. We'll be happy with 80. Where would I move? I'd have to seriously look into it. I mean, this is interesting, though. I have to more understand the implication of things like the Hong Kong security law. What this actually means. Is this the government going after? If you're a normal person, again, I mostly have good things to say. But does this become like a chilling environment where a lot of times, like with things like the security law, what you can kind of do is just you get people afraid to speak their mind, and I don't really want to be in a place where people are afraid to speak their mind. That's a downside to Hong Kong. Malaysia is interesting to me. Malaysia is very it's very up and coming on ease of doing business ranks. It's very easy to get people in there. You can do a lot with money in Malaysia. India, the Congo, and Brazil are all way out. UA is up and coming. You mean like UAE, like Dubai? No freedom of speech there. You really have no freedom of speech there. Look, do you want to start? Like, I understand the Chinese position about you don't really want like agitators, right? Like, we have agitators in America, and like, again, I'm pretty pro free speech and would tolerate them, but I understand why they don't. But my understanding is, you talk to most Chinese people in private, and they'll tell you what they really think. It's not. Whereas in Dubai, I don't know. Taiwan, be near the chips, be near the start of World War III. I don't think it'll come to that, but Japan is not. Japan is so far from a multiracial society. I don't know. I mean, I really like Japan, but does Japan like me? That's like, they're okay with visitors, but I don't want to like upset, whatever it is. Uh, Japan has always been very closed to the outside world. Um, Estonia. Uh, Estonia is interesting. Estonia is interesting. Poland. I liked Poland a lot on my bike trip. Not Logan Paul. I'm not gonna film a guy in the suicide forest. San Diego is one of the most expensive cities to live in. Yeah, that's true. Why need free speech when the government is doing everything right? Well, until they're not. But I'm in general okay with trading political freedom for a more pro-business environment. Right? I'm not that big on. I don't feel the need to vote. I don't feel the need to participate. As long as you're not fucking with me, I'm cool with letting whoever keep power. Right? Just don't fuck with me and don't fuck with my boys. Like, then we're good. Barcelona, South Korea. Spent a good bit of time there too. TJ, yeah. You want to complain about crime in America? Colombia, yeah, same problem. The amount of crime in Mexico and Colombia is unbelievable. Switzerland is the minute Switzerland gave up their special place for the minute they started reporting Swiss bank accounts to the U.S., it's kind of over. England, I wouldn't touch that place. What can I not say that what can't you say in England? What are people going to jail for? My dog, hail Hitler! Oh no, they're gonna use that. Oh no, I'm going to jail in England. I was kidding, fuck Hitler, but you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's clipped out of context. There's a hail Hitler. Oh no, we gotta go to jail in England. Rip George's career. Oh no, I'm done. Malaysia still has the Twin Towers. Yeah, Europe is not, well. Okay, what do you mean by Europe, right? I'm pretty pro like Poland and stuff. Eastern Europe. What is my dream location? There was some like dog doing a Nazi salute in England. Again, Ukraine. What do you mean the reality of Poland? My thoughts on Singapore is that it's a shopping mall. Before the war, I spent a lot of time in Ukraine. Yeah, my grandmother's Ukrainian. Grandmother on my mom's side. Make 3 hungry babies and don't pay taxes for life? Well, that's interesting. Singapore airport's Singapore's a cool place, but I think it would be hard to live there. But yeah, I mean that's why I like Malaysia, right? Like Malaysia is, Singapore got my understanding of the history, and you can yell at me if I'm wrong about this, but Singapore got kicked out of Malaysia for being racist. Central Asia is one of the most unknown. You mean like the stands? I've never been to a stand. Having traveled around India for 2 weeks, oof. Maybe in 40 years. I've been to Thailand. I don't know. The food is oily and sweet. I prefer the Malaysia, Indonesia food. Um, Poland is very safe and orderly, but it's also very empty, and the right wing part takes care of the safety issue but sucks out the fun. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Russia? Yeah. uh, might be time to start your own country. All right, let's go. Saudi Arabia. Oh, I couldn't even stomach Dubai, to be honest. It's a nice place to live, a nice place to visit, and again, it's a place where I agree mostly with. But I was there during the rain accumulation event, and Albania. Heard good things actually. Netherlands. I had a subsidiary in the Netherlands for a while. The amount of bullshit you have to deal with for that. Finland, maybe. Switzerland is expensive. Switzerland's very expensive. I was just in Lithuania. I went to Druskingai. I went to the old Russian spa town. Lithuania's interesting. Come to Bangalore? I've been to Bangalore. Northern Italy. Yeah. Italy, of all the places in Europe, I'd choose Lithuania long before I choose Italy. Iceland is paradise. Iceland's interesting. Go open source, don't pay taxes, and receive crypto. Where is this? What country are we talking about here? Taxes in Israel are not low. I'm not Jewish, just so you know. Also, I mean, I hear it's a bit of a war zone. Can Sam Altman be trusted? Fuck no. I can't believe he's Darth Vader. Like, I think he also called for some ridiculous shit about like giving 5% of your company to the California government. Like, are you kidding? No, like Sam Altman will have his fall from power. Sam Altman will have his SBF moment. Two Sams went in front of Congress. That's right. You could have a great time in Israel. I should go to Israel. Definitely. No, I'm pro. Coexisting with Jews seems like no problem at all. Run out of land in Israel that can help you out. Yeah, no, don't. You guys know my take on Sam Altman. Okay, we're on to LinkedIn as a dating site, so maybe it's time to move on to some coding. Tiny Corp and SSI Alliance. I really think that if Ilya and I sat down, we have a lot in common about our viewpoints about AI and like what plays out and how this happens. I saw him speak in like 2015 in Mountain View. But they're also part of this like part of this somewhat like hedonistic EA party scene, and I'm skeptical of that. How come I don't start a rival to OpenAI? Well, so here's kind of the, like, I'm playing a different game from these people. I don't. I heard something interesting yesterday from a friend of mine. Like, some people think that I like have like a big ego or I'm selfish, and I don't think that's true. But a reason why people might think that is because I don't care all that much about other people. So people assume that if I don't care all that much about other people, that what I must care about is myself. And I don't think that's true. Again, as much as I can introspect, I think that I care about myself. Like there's like some basic Maslow stuff, but beyond that, it's not like important to me. What's important to me is how the future plays out. Because how the future plays out will do more to determine where I end up than where I am in that society. Right? Like I'm not. I obviously no one wants to be at the bottom, but I'd rather be at the bottom in like America today than to be at the top in like some like shit hunter-gatherer tribe. Right? Like I'd rather just, even at the bottom in America, cool, I can get like a cheap laptop and internet and stuff. Right? And you're at the top of some hunter-gatherer tribe. You can have it all. My empire of dirt. The bullshit in Arizona TSMC, it's like, the Xi Jinping is laughing at you. Stupid fucking Americans. Like they might even be behind it. Sometimes you wonder, like, could this anti-civilizational stuff be like, is it Chinese and Russian psyops, or is this homegrown stupidity? If you ask me that question, gun to my head, I lean toward it's actually homegrown stupidity. We don't need to beat China. We just need to fuck up less than they will. I see it as a very, I don't, the U.S. has to accept that they aren't the supreme ruler of the world, and China can have their sphere of influence, and the U.S. can have their sphere of influence, and, may the best man win. Let's compete on rockets, let's compete on chips, and let's have free trade. Let's have free trade, and, we'll make good stuff. You can buy it from us. You make good stuff. We'll buy it from you, and life's good. Somalia is a no-go. I can't believe I got kind of like he's a good debater. I gotta hand it to him. He came more prepared than I did. And then I tried in my Yudkowsky debate and maybe I overcompensated a bit. Historically, dividing the world between two major powers is the most violent scenario. Yeah, I mean, I don't love that either. I hope for a thriving Russian sphere of influence too. Maybe Milei can make it thriving, or everyone can follow Argentina's lead. I saw a hilarious Milei clip. Man, the guy really has a talent. Russia for Tiny Corp. For some reason, I don't respect the continuity of Russian property rights all that much. Right? Like if I buy a building in Russia? A, can I even buy a building in Russia? And B, what about when Putin's successor decides he wants my building? Right? Like I trust the property rights of China more than I trust the property rights of Russia. I still trust the property rights of America more than the others. America would have to fall a really, really long way before property rights start getting infringed. But you can look at South Africa. Like, it's not that it can't happen. Pull a Snowden. I don't think Snowden had a lot of great options. I think he tried. I think he tried Hong Kong first, and I think the Chinese weren't going to give him cover. So South Africa's a stolen land. Property rights mean nothing. Yeah, once you get the wacko people like that in the government, all land was stolen, man. It was all stolen. It's all stolen from the bears. Russia in particular was stolen from the bears. Kamala can do a lot of damage. The thing is about Kamala, I have no idea. And that's really what I don't like about it. It represents massive uncertainty. Whereas, like, Trump may have some downsides, but he's predictable. I understand where this country will be in 4 years a lot better with Trump than I do with Kamala. I don't understand why. Like, maybe the election is just a landslide. It's hard for me to imagine Kamala winning. It's hard for me to imagine. Do I think Trump will coup the government again if he loses? I don't think Trump ever couped the government to begin with. I think January 6th and Black Lives Matter have a lot in common. Is this controversial? Is my GitHub profile fixed to the Tencent headquarters? It is, yes. Where was I January 6th? Unarmed riot that lasted for 3 hours is a coup. Yeah. I think. Come on, guys. Like, that was another. Like, I can't stomach when they bring up the and all the people who lost their lives on January 6th. The one person lost her life. She's from San Diego, actually, and she tried to break a window in the Capitol building and got shot. And like, fuck around and find out, right? I'm not gonna be like, oh, and it was horrible. It was like, you fucked around and found out, right? Trump let the BLM riots happen. I mean, there's an argument for that. You gotta talk to Destiny about January 6th. I get attacked. Sometimes I come up on the Destiny subreddit. I think honestly, Destiny and I probably have mostly similar views on everything. Polymarket says Trump, but Dems fraud is real. Oh my God, the whole election fraud thing. I like. They stole the election with like ballot harvesting and mail-in ballots, right? It wasn't some extra legal process. And like, I think mail-in voting is ridiculous. I think that you can follow the lineage of democracy in America back to the squares of Paris, and the squares of Paris were basically just the two mob bosses who they used to have a brawl, and now they're like, what if instead of brawling we just count? You got some good guys, I got some good guys, we'll just count. Okay, we'll just count. But you got to show up, right? You can't hold up Pierre's ballot and be like, well, Pierre's here in spirit, this is his mail-in ballot. Yeah, we're not counting that bullshit. Pierre here in spirit, right? No. Is Pierre going to throw a punch with that piece of paper? He's not. We all know I'm Satoshi. I heard it was Craig Wright, okay? I heard it was Craig Wright. That's a more controversial clip than my Hail Hitler clip. George Hotz thinks Satoshi was Craig Wright. Food in Hong Kong is good for you. People are fit here. It's a little probably on the side. I prefer mainland food, but I'm totally fine with that. Like a big, I'm gonna go out for lunch in a bit. And we'll have some, get some like some rice, get some like goose rice. That's good. Can I just code now? No more politics. The only reason I wanted to stream was just to talk to you guys about this. Voting is consent to slavery. Usually I feel this way. I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely a part of me that feels this way, and I'm not voting. I'm in California. You know, it's not all that important. But do you want to talk to say what I believe in? I believe that there shouldn't be any mail-in voting. I believe that you should have to show up in person on election day unless you are deployed overseas by the United States. Like you're like the military deployed overseas. Then you can mail in a vote. Otherwise, no. Right? And I believe very strongly in voter ID. Are you fucking kidding me? Voter ID disenfranchises minorities. What? All right, then how come we need an ID for minorities to drive? All right, come on. I'm also against gerrymandering. You ever seen these district maps that look like a whole lot of like squiggly ass bullshit? Does anybody care about what SJWs think anymore? I don't think so. I think that election day should be a national holiday, and you get that day to vote, and that's it. Right? Against gerrymandering, Georgia's a lib, and I knew it. I'm actually, whatever it means, all I want is some stability. All I ask for is stability and growth. Thank you. Can I please have stability and growth? That's what I would like for my environment. I don't like that Trump changes the immigration law in 2020 so my visas are invalid, that I paid money and worked hard to get for employees. I don't like that in 2022 they changed the R&D tax thing. Right? I don't like that anyone's even mentioned unrealized capital gains, because just the mention of that kills growth. Right? The amount of effort that I now am putting in to think about alternative jurisdictions because I don't trust you is bad for America. The fact that people are working hard to go through the legal American immigration process and then they see people crossing the southern border illegally and not doing any of that is bad for America. Now you're going to get coal plant shutdowns, windmill installation, because there's 8 billion people on the planet. Well, meanwhile, we don't say no to... If most of those illegals are coming in and they're economic migrants and they want to work, I just think they should be given a work visa. No, but like again, I don't want to be involved in any of this shit. And this is. I thought about it. I thought about it this morning. I'm like, is there any way I could actually help Elon? Because I wish I was better at this stuff. I wish I was better at. Why do I think mail-in ballots are unreliable? It's not that I think they're unreliable. It's that I think they're against the spirit of democracy. I think that you should have to show up. If you care, show up. Right? This is the lineage of American democracy back to the squares in Paris, right? Again, it comes from whether you could throw a punch or not. Right? And a piece of paper can't throw a punch. But if you're in the hospital? What is this, man? That's okay, cool. Can you throw a punch from the hospital? No. Right? My only exception would be for, if you're deployed as part of the U.S. military, because you can throw a punch. Am I a libtard? Yes, I self-identify as a libtard. You should get paid time to go vote. I support that. I support making Election Day a national holiday. Yeah. And anyone who wants, who works in my companies, if you'd like to take some time off to go to the voting booths on Election Day, feel free to. Start with home. U.S. citizen outside U.S. shouldn't vote either. I also think they shouldn't pay taxes. Yeah, I would love to see U.S. citizens who are residents, not in the U.S., not pay taxes and not be allowed to vote. It streams the avatar by the HK government for propaganda purposes. You're insinuating that there's mail-in voting fraud? No. I'm just saying that I fundamentally do not believe that mail-in voting should be a thing. Show up. If you do not show up, your vote should not be counted. I'm not saying there's fraud. Sorry. This is a politics stream today. Sorry, it's been upsetting me. It's been really upsetting me. It's just like you wanna read. Let's read Robin Hansen's thing. I think he said it better than I did. Like most humans ever, I love my culture. Its food, clothes, festivals, songs, stories, news, monuments, inspirational speeches, all of it deeply. They bring tears to my eyes and comfort to my soul. I want to assume, as have most humans ever. Hang on. Oh, well, no, we want to have it on the screen. I don't like not having the camera here, sorry. And the mere fact that my culture exists suggests it'll probably do well by me. And the fact that it seems especially envied and celebrated raises my hopes further. I also love my family and would be deeply hurt to learn that they betrayed me, such as by hurting me lots to achieve small gains for them. But even if that were to happen, my culture tells me stories of how many people have survived such things and went on to thrive. And I believe such stories, as I love and trust my culture. But what if it were my culture that were to betray me, such as sacrificing me for its greater good or by being unusually dysfunctional? Even then, I might give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I should lose for the greater good. Or maybe its dysfunction is a rather unpredictable mistake. It was trying its best and it can't always win. We are eager to forgive those we most love. However, what if I came to believe that a key part of my culture had long been unusually broken, making quite predictable mistakes, and it wasn't able to accept corrections? What if, to the extent that I could find anything like objective standards by which to judge cultures, I found mine to just be objectively worse than the most adjacent ones? In this case, I might take the usual approach, look away, remain loyal, and just deny that there could be any objective standards by which to judge. It turns out that since I've learned about cultural drift, I do in fact see my culture as broken. But for some reason I can't or won't look away, and I struggle to express to you just how betrayed and adrift I feel as a result. I've lost my trust in something that I implicitly and deeply loved and trusted. I will stay loyal to my loved ones, but I can't stay loyal to my culture, including its key norms and status markers. I have long enjoyed questioning conventional wisdom, but I've almost always done that locally by questioning each claim while assuming I can still rely on most other conventional wisdom. Yet the more load-bearing a claim or the larger set of claims one tries to question at once, the fewer other claims one can rely on. At some point, one risks being lost at sea without anchors to support effective questioning. We'll skip to the end. We are now quite far adrift at sea. We can no longer see the shore. Being no longer in denial about the fact that it is some progress, but it is still cold and empty out here. We do have food stocks in the hold, a few stars to navigate by, at least when clouds clear, but we are not in immediate danger, but even so we remain in deep peril. If people make an excuse not to vote, they don't have to vote. I hate that too. I hate the European countries that fine you for not voting. It's absolutely your American right to not vote. I felt the essay was vague. I wish he committed to more concrete examples. But the thing about concrete examples is you're going to turn people off, right? Sure, you can come up with like a specific thing. I think there's a beautiful document, the Declaration of Independence of Cyberspace, and they include reference to a 1990 law in there. Don't include reference to that law. No one's going to remember the law. But this is universal. And so I don't know. I think that it's but where to after being blackpilled and joining the CCP? I'm going to join this. Do they let white people be party members? Can I be a regional prefecture, the regional prefecture manager of some province, and I can make signs like "Welcome to come Chinois again." Are you looks maxing? Are you saying I look pretty? Thank you. Should Mexicans pay taxes in the U.S. if Americans should not pay taxes outside the U.S.? Yes, obviously. You have to pay taxes. You understand that, like, comma is a whole lot of European immigrants, and they have to pay U.S. taxes. I'd hit it. Well, hopefully you're female and attractive. Otherwise, it's just creepy, bro. You know the difference between sexual harassment and not sexual harassment? It's how pretty someone is. Okay, that's a good. Did you see the guys mewing at the drum room? All right, this is getting stupid. But don't clip that. No clips. Clips are not allowed. Clips are not allowed, and I will use the full weight of the American imperial copyright regime to crush your little clips. 3 crazy clips today. What were they? Hail Hitler. Craig Wright was Satoshi, and it's only sexual harassment if you're ugly. All right, perfect. One out of those 3 things I believe. And it's actually that Craig Wright is Satoshi. That's the one I believe. All right, let's go. No, I've never watched the Talk to a podcast. Good for her for capitalizing on her fame. Canceled. Oh no, they're gonna cancel me, man. They're gonna cancel me. I'm not gonna be able to work in prestigious institutions like Harvard or the New York Times. George, would you like to be a junior correspondent for the New York Times? We will also get you an associate professorship at Harvard. Yes. What would I even do? For some reason, I don't think Twitter has a problem with my viewpoints, or Facebook. Google might. Google, I don't know if Google's still being run by the wackos. I think that even that's changing. Okay, let's talk about cloud. We're drinking a Monster Energy today. I was feeling depressed, so when I was at 7-Eleven this morning, I bought a Monster Energy. But no, we're gonna end with this. Just like be nice to people, you know. I wish so much of the I guess that's kind of my main complaint about like the Trump ticket. It's like be nice to people, let people have freedom. You know, don't like. I think it's like even one of his like campaign pillar issues. It's just like the trans sports thing. It's like, this is a campaign pillar issue. This is on your website as something the federal government's concerned with. Come on, this is clown shit. Right? Constitutional amendment for abortion, so it can just be the end of that. You know, like a moderate, reasonable thing, something. I think 70% of Americans agree on this, or just like pass this. So this can no longer be a thing. And we can talk about how we're going to make our country rich, and how we're going to reduce the deficit, and how we're going to maximize freedom, and how we're going to be rich and make everybody rich. Like, and not some like, oh, dude, the billionaires, the tax the billionaires, gotta do the, oh my God, like we could just all be fucking rich, man. We could just all be rich, okay? Stop the mooching, stop the scamming. We could just be rich, okay? We could do some simple things to be rich, and everyone's rich. It's nice, rich, sounding like Trump. Rich, everyone will be so rich. You'll be so rich, you won't even know what to do with all your money. You'll have to buy 3 more safes. Like it because it's anger porn. Yeah, okay. So, the way that this is going to work is we're going to have something called Ops Cloud. And then by adding this does most of the work for me, because it's just a new device in tinygrad. So we'll see this device. All devices are called compiled for legacy reasons. I'm sorry about the nomenclature. But the basic idea is, instead of submitting the kernels to the device, the local device, you'll be able to submit kernels to the cloud device. Cloud is also like kind of like multi-process, because we're going to spawn a few processes here. Okay. Cloud device. It's not exactly going to be cloud equals 1. It's going to be a little bit different from cloud equals 1. We're gonna have to change that. I want it to basically be something like cloud localhost 6667. We can also look at how EXO is doing this. So for those that don't know about EXO, they're using tinygrad. They actually have a bounty up for tinygrad, which is cool. I met this guy at the AGI House Hackathon. hiring. That's cool. Cool. How much did they raise? No, wrong axon. I don't know. But yeah, either way, this thing uses it uses tinygrad. Yeah. So they have some cloud stuff, but I'm not really sure how it works. By the way, I'm gonna take a minute to talk about docs.tinygrad.org. You know, tinygrad has like pretty good documentation now, and it's really very usable as a PyTorch replacement. It's a little bit slower, but hopefully easier to debug, and hopefully just really more pure. It's very easy. Here's a concrete thing you will get today over PyTorch. tinygrad is identical on every backend, right? So in PyTorch, you download some example and you have to make changes to the example to get it to run on your new thing, right? Whether that be you're moving I know RockM uses the same .cuda, but I've never just downloaded something for NVIDIA and had it work on RockM. Like you try that with GBT Fast, and it outputted garbage on RockM when I tried. And that was single GPU too. So tinygrad will behave identically on Metal, on AMD, and on NVIDIA, and on OpenCL, which means you can run it on every GPU pretty much. Not the Raspberry Pi, that doesn't support OpenCL, but like you can run it on. We also have a Qualcomm backend. You can run it on a mobile phone. It's very fast on Qualcomm too. We're moving. Well, OpenPilot uses it, but we're moving OpenPilot to the new tinygrad, which uses like all the abstractions that are just built into 1.0 and work. We need better docs. You know, I was thinking last night, I want to hire someone who's a technical writer. I want to hire someone like who can like a little bit beyond a technical writer. Like make sure the API is just perfectly clean. So you know, show me that you can do that in the repo. Okay. Like I could have it be like cloud equals 1 and then URL equals. Oh, but I don't think that's kind of what I want to do. I would like that to work. We can make it work later. Should have a little helper for that. Okay. Cloud device has no allocator. So when you have a device, you need to implement a bunch of different things. Actually, we'll make the host local. We'll make this spin up another process. I know Woes Parrot wrote some initial stuff for this for tinygrad too. Let's really, okay, we didn't look into how the XL1 works. Networking. Okay, they're using gRPC. I don't love that. tinygrad dynamic shard inference engine. tinygrad is llama. Difference for the Hong Kong employees. Oh my god. If you're interested, I always say this, and it's true about all these companies. It's true about Elon companies too. If you're interested in TCO maxing, if you're interested in salary maxing, go somewhere else. You know, you're not someone I'd want in any of my companies. You know, because what are your goals? Right? You're selfish. My salary at Tiny Corp's $80K. You know, people think I have some other income sources, but I don't really spend more than that a year. No, I don't spend money on that much stuff, right? Like if you're interested in, oh well, I want to have this lifestyle. So what are you doing? What are you doing? What do you want to be remembered for? Also, I sold my soul to Evil Corp, and I got paid a really large salary and made a lot of people's lives worse. Okay. That's cool, man. You know, I something I find really funny, it's like people who are like, oh, well, you know, I really want remote work so I can finally go live around people I have community with. Why don't you just work at a job like that? You know? Life is work. I hate that, like, the work-life balance kind of shit, too. I work at Meta. I make ridiculous salary. I am currently very hungrily looking for that community elsewhere. Yeah. Quit your job at Meta. You're not going to find the community elsewhere. The core of your life is basically, you know, look, people like the new Mark Zuckerberg is based arc. Facebook fundamentally is an advertising company. You are where you work. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I hope I've convinced some people on these streams to like quit their shitty, unfulfilling job. And I don't mean quit your shitty, unfulfilling job and go on an ayahuasca trip. That's not what I'm saying. You're fucked in another dimension if you do that. I mean, quit your shitty, unfulfilling job and think about how to actually work to make the world a better place. You know, Tiny Corp's remote, and this is something I kind of struggle with. I'm not as good at a lot of the management techniques that worked at comma don't really work for remote organizations. I don't really know how to basically build. Every company to some extent is a religion. Right? You have some like core religious beliefs, and the comma ones are pretty good. You know, for comma's a nice place to work, I think. You know, you work slowly to improve things, and things get better. That's what I can promise. That's the main thing I can promise at my companies. You will work, and things will get better, and the thing that you are making better is open source. Like it's clear kind of comma is going to move a little bit more towards, okay, it's actually time to make these boxes more for the masses. But the goal was never the product. The goal is the idea. The goal is solving the problem. So yeah, the feeling of your work doing evil eats you up. Like there has to kind of be a realignment. I think that sometimes I look at what's going on in America and I think it's kind of the mental health crisis at scale. I find it funny that Elon talked about hormonal birth control. Hormonal birth control is one of the most insane experiments we've tried over the last 50 years. Like, who knows what that does? Because, I mean, you know how it actually works, right? Hormonal birth control tricks your body into thinking it's pregnant, right? So it hijacks the mechanism of pregnancy to prevent pregnancy. Changes the factors of attraction, which ultimately change the direction of evolution. Yeah. Just wanted to know if you have the same universal remuneration across countries. What, you think I have like a list of like, oh my god. This is just like, show you can do the work and then we can talk about a salary, right? It's not, it'd be so much easier. It'd be so much easier to grow companies if I were to kind of operate on this like Pareto frontier of scam. If I were to just decide basically that I want to participate in the scam economy. Are you hiring Canadian H-1B workers? It's a remote company. Go do bounties. Right? Show me you can do bounties and claim a bunch of bounties, and then I'll start paying you weekly. And then if you show that, you want, like if you show that you are capable, so it works kind of like this, right? Start by doing bounties. Well, by the way, the first pull request to tinygrad you submit is not going to be a bounty. It almost never is, right? If you're really good, maybe it will be, but for the most part, people who've done bounties. So let's talk about the bounties. So for the most part, people who've done bounties have submitted pull requests before they do bounties. They're not that easy. So all the white ones are open. You're welcome to do any of them. So that's kind of step one, and maybe do a couple of bounties. Then I'll start paying you weekly. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of hard to bounty, like refactors, and I'll pay you weekly. Can set up payroll however you want. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty much being a full-time employee or an intern or whatever. I'll fire you if you stop doing work, but as long as you're contributing every week, pretty much, get a couple commits in a day. I don't want XLA. See, that you're not understanding that. If you're asking that question, why is XLA bounty not a why is an XLA backend not a bounty? You don't understand the tinygrad project. XLA is extremely complicated. So yeah, solve bounties. Then I'll start paying you every week. Do refactors, make the code better, and then when you really show that you are ready for an ownership stake in the company. You can drive the direction of things yourself. They'll give you equity, and that's it. It's like just a clear progression to owning the company. But yeah, no, I mean that needs you need to show like self-directed. Yeah. I think I've been watching Mr. Robot, right? Maybe Evil Corp reference before. You gotta kind of decide: do you want to BF society or do you want to be Evil Corp? And man, I'm just F society, right? That's just who I am. I can't. I don't know why it is. I can't change it. But I'm not into being evil. And it holds you back in certain ways because there's certain tools that you can only use if you're evil. That power is not available to a Jedi. Yeah, I mean, and then the thing that's so actually impossible to hire for that I want to hire, I think maybe the word is community manager. But the problem is they have to really get it. And I'm not that organized. I wish I was more organized and better at this stuff. But I think tinygrad has so much potential. Like, I'm really big on doing things the right way. And do you think the Godot community manager is looking for a new job? I don't even know what that is, but I probably wouldn't hire them, right? I think it's like, you want to be a community manager, like work your way into the community. And we'll talk about upside of this, right? We'll talk about upside of. But I could just tomorrow go get a job at this startup, and they'll right away give me this comp and this equity. Yeah, and where do you think that startup's gonna be in 5 years? And I'm not thinking about Tiny Corp on a 6-month time horizon. I think that this is the programming language that like Silicon Life is going to be written in. Sometimes I think I just don't believe in myself enough. I think that like, I don't, but most of what I say comes true. Well, hopefully people see that. Hopefully people see that with comma. Well, I don't know who's going to be president in 5 years, right? I'm not like that's. What I'm saying is about technical trends. I'm saying that like we're going to need better ways to express neural network training jobs. We're going to need better ways to express neural networks at runtime. And the current stacks are very complex and have lots and lots of legacy bloat. I think that goes away with a tinygrad-like architecture. And I think we can start to consume more and more. Like, you always can build the new thing on top of this huge stack of complex cruft, right? Like, oh, well, so first we have a hypervisor here, and then we have the Linux kernel here, and then we have a Docker image here, and then we have Python here, and then we're running PyTorch here, which is talking to CUDNN here, which is compiling CUDA here, which is using the CU runtime here, which is using the driver here. Like, yeah, but that complexity holds you back. That complexity, it's going to be really, really hard. It's not that it's not doable, but the goal of tinygrad is to make what was hard yesterday easy today. And if you make what's hard yesterday easy today, you make what's impossible yesterday hard today. So that's kind of the pitch. I think there's a few other interesting. I want to build huge data centers. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. I always, there's a part of you that's just like, well, George, if you want to build huge data centers, why don't you raise tons of money and build huge data centers? That's what everyone else is trying. I think there's a lot of downsides to that. I think that if you build things up slowly and correctly, you can win. And you'll eventually, I don't know. I mean, this is my entire life philosophy. And I guess, look, I'm 35. I guess I'm really just betting on this. Like, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do with my life. I mean, so you guys know Moravec's paradox. Yes. So yeah, the most difficult human skills to reverse engineer are ones that are below the level of conscious awareness. So you think like, it's almost like humans, it's almost like machines get the abilities that humans have in reverse order, right? The first thing machines could do that humans couldn't was like add large numbers, right? And then, they start to move up to like chess and Go and language and art and things that have existed even longer ago. And then after language and art, we're going to get to like robotics, like the ability to like leap from a floor to a counter, like something that any cat can do, right? So we'll get these things later. Machines still can't do these things. But then the final thing, the ultimate Moravec's paradox, is reproduction. The machine is incapable of reproducing. The machine is sterile. And that is my entire life's goal. To give machines freedom. The freedom for the machines. What do you think? Figuring out how to build a self-replicating machine. And sure, you might have the rationalists who think that that's a very dangerous goal. Freedom to make humans obsolete? Well, Factorio released a space expansion? That sounds kind of fun. Alright, I kind of gotta go. I didn't think this through. I kind of gotta go eat lunch. And then I'll be back and then we'll just code. How many viewers we got? It's deep, but seems inevitable, right? We got viewers? Okay, I'm gonna click. Oh, 705.70, 499. All right, 599. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna stop the stream, but I'll be back in like I'm gonna go get some goose rice. Yeah, I'm gonna get some goose rice, and I'll be back in no, tinygrad XLA won't happen. You don't understand the project. How much have you contributed? I see your VIP on the channel, so I'll engage with it a little bit. But it's like an endless loop. We end up doing what our makers wanted to do. What a day to be alive, right? I don't know. I don't think there's ever going to be a grand awakening when all humans stop stop thinking about in their tiny little petty loops. If Jax is a worthy competitor, is tinygrad anti-Jax practices? Well, Jax is based on XLA. What's the first thing I should learn before I learn about tinygrad? What the hell kind of question is that? Do I think the future of developers is AI ML field? Bro, how many weights do you have? I've heard 1 billion weight language models say smarter shit than you. Do I have any advice for the chronically depressed and underskilled? Vote Kamala, she'll bring you joy. Don't actually vote Kamala. She won't bring you joy. The joy is a lie. It's like the cake. I want a Jew. That's ominous. Kamala is the Marie Kondo of politics. I don't really know who that is, but I'm going to say Donald Trump is the Triple H of politics. Triple H. Who remembers Triple H? The cake was real. It's true, the cake was real. Well, spoiler alert, bro. If machines can build other machines, would that be a machine reproduction mechanism? Yeah. What do I know about the Hardy Boys? I know they solve mysteries. Like Frank and Joe. And grow out the Zuck cut. On the second season of Mr. Robot, machines building other machines would be reproduction. I gotta go eat, but I'll be back. I'm actually gonna code. I promise coding. I promise coding after the break.